Welcome everyone to the fourth episode of Pardon the Int, where we take a person who knows almost nothing about League of Legends outside of the North American scene and ask him ridiculous questions. On the docket for today, Worlds. All things Worlds. A little bit of Season 12 preseason, and of course, everyone's favorite Burger King is back. So Billy, tired or not tired?
Always tired.
One day we'll get a different answer out of you, Billy. And when
Yeah,
that
One
day
day,
he's
man.
comes,
like 3 cups of coffee and he's like, I'm ready to
yeah, when that day comes, the world will be on fire, man.
go.
Oh my gosh. So to start things off today, World's play-ins. We'll just start with Group A. As we record this, is after the groups, so before knockouts. Okay, we're not cheaters here when we predict who's gonna win a series. Okay, because when Bully comes out and says Galatasaray is winning it all, you know. He's a prophet, not a cheater, I swear. Uh, but Group A, so Detonation Focus to be Cloud9, Galatasaray, Beyond Gaming, Unicorns of Love. Any big surprises, gentlemen?
I think the biggest surprise is the fact that Beyond Gaming is actually the fourth seed. Uh, I'm not completely sold on Galatasaray.
Okay.
I think the first day they shocked a lot of people. They're like, wow, they actually won a couple games. Of course, it's still a really solid Turkish team, but it's not anywhere I think the capability that Beyond Gaming has, and we'll probably see that tomorrow.
I have a very different opinion of Beyond Gaming than you do. Because the biggest thing for me is I'm actually more surprised about Unicorns of Love being the worst team in this group.
Yeah.
Like, I personally would have flipped Galatasaray and Unicorns of Love. And if you were gonna go with the standard like 4-0, 3-1, like the other group looked, I actually wouldn't have been surprised if Beyond was 0-4. But I think this was the group where literally, maybe aside from Galatasaray, any of the other four teams probably could have been first. Like, I think you could have made an argument. Um, I'm actually not surprised about Dead Nation Focus me. They're a really good team. Really, really. I mean, there are three Korean players on the team. So,
Yeah,
but
the people who thought they were like, okay, yeah, people who thought like Detonation Focus Me was this like a alright team, but like they're actually super solid, and the fact that they're in play-ins and that they have to go through and like if they had to play through knockouts, now they don't, but if they had to play through knockouts, that's very dangerous for anybody that to play them. So
no, it's very true. Billy, I know.
I mean, I was kind of surprised watching Unicorns of Love. I thought they actually made really good adaptations, at least from what I watched today in terms of drafting. They seem to have like this sort of set style that they really like. They've been using Senna a lot more than the rest of the other teams, I think. So, been that's been something nice to watch. It's been a nice little shakeup compared to what we've been seeing of like MF every other game.
every game you mean if it's not
I
banned?
mean, every game, yeah. So I was interested in that. Kind of sad that C9 ended up making it so they have to play through knockouts rather than just auto qualifying. But I think after how they played today, they kind of deserved it.
Yeah, I mean maybe it'll be good for Cloud9,
Mm-hmm.
they always seem to do better as a team when they've come from play-ins. It's like the best of five buff that they get.
Yeah, I think it's just having more practice, honestly. More practice on stage, more practice like in general. Yes, you could count scrims as practice, but like this has like a different feel to it, in my opinion. Like you're playing for your life, and playing for your life earlier helps you play for your life later, and that's where it's gonna come down. Like where groups are gonna happen, where you can't have a bad day. If you have a bad day, it's really hard to come back.
Indeed, it is hard to come back if you have a bad day, especially in play-ins. C9 though, man, the choking of
Mm-hmm.
all of all things, I mean, this group, it is close. I do think, even though people will meme like they 3-0-0-3, and then I've already seen it, the MSI one where they lost to Pentanet. It's like the 0-7 to, losing to the bad teams. But like, I mean, Unicorns Love could have also been 3-0 coming into that game. Their play didn't show it throughout play-ins, but they were a better team than they performed. I feel like they massively underperformed, so it's not overly surprising, but they did all the hard work they needed to coming into today. And then I guess they just had a bad day, man. Perk Sleek
Yeah.
looked like he regressed. Like the first 2 days he was looking like in form, and then today was not his day.
Just like we saw this for Cloud9 in the LCS. The second half is they're just not consistent. Like they could be looking like one of the best teams, and like a team that could like go deep in worlds, but then sometimes they just look like absolute crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know if it's a confidence issue, if it's like more cockiness, but it's something they need to fix, because if they have that kind of issue in groups or against any team, they can get reverse swept at some point. If they're like up 2-0 and they're like, we've got this easily, and they lose game 3 and game 4 and then game 5, and then it's still doomed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. C9 has had a pretty big problem with consistency, unfortunately. Um, like you said, it's really strange though to see this team. You just wouldn't expect with the players they have on this team to be so inconsistent. You
I
really
do
wouldn't.
think I do think like part of this, like while it does play into C9 being inconsistent, it does also speak to the level of teams that are at Worlds this, like obviously they've done enough to win out their regions, but like I think the gap is kind of just been slowly eroding more and more as the years go by. Like I don't think if you go back to like 2016, 2017, I don't think you would really think about most of like some of these regions coming out of plans typically. Like that was mainly back when like Brazil was
At
one of
Pain
the
Gaming.
yeah, Brazil and
Yeah.
Pain Gaming were like one of the premier teams out of minor regions, right?
Yes. I mean, most people would probably be. Spain was actually the team that I think a lot of people expected to be at Worlds for Brazil once again.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Unfortunately,
is
they lost to who was it? It was,
what in their regional league.
they lost to.
Um,
It wasn't Kalunga.
no, they didn't lose to them. Um, hang on,
Ozrenska.
is that who it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
They lost.
they didn't lose to the team attending Worlds, right?
No, they didn't.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at CBO, most Pain Gaming, it's like the name people know, and they're not here.
I remember I remember the early days, like I think there was in like INT gaming, right? From Brazil, and then like Rainbow
INTZ.
Seven. INTZ, yeah.
Yes, INTZ was in there at one point. Um, no, but I mean, like in terms of that, like Pain Gaming is still got BRTT on it, which is like the
Yeah.
name. I think the name that
Mhm.
one of the only names when you say something from Brazil, people would probably remember consistently.
We'll
Like
see him in NA soon. It's okay.
I. Oh man. Um, yeah, I gotta laugh, dude. We can blame Cloud9's thing all on Freak. I hate
True.
Freak. I'm very against Freak. I think he always seems to have really bad takes, but his tweet where he said that he keeps hearing that Detonation Focus Me is supposed to be a rival of Cloud9's because they won a game. Maybe people can actually use their eyes and brains now. and then Cloud9 go and get absolutely destroyed by Detonation Focus Me. I think Freak was overreacting a little bit from one game. And I will give him, maybe it's just, one of the meme takes on Twitter, but I feel like Freak is almost always serious. He's not much of a memer. So I don't know. He makes a lot of puns, but
It is super hard to take like anything to account after one game.
yeah.
Because these are the best teams are like in the world. That's why it's called the Worlds. And they're playing for a reason. And of course, you wouldn't expect a team to always win every game at Worlds. So losing a best of one can happen. And Cloud9 played out of their minds against Detonation Focus Me. Like,
Yep.
they were on that day, and
The
of
next
course,
day they weren't.
the next day they weren't. It's just he ate those words. But yeah, Freak has had some bad takes in the past. I distinctly remember all the stuff about Rumble.
Oh my, yeah, but
Oh,
my
yeah.
best part was he's excluding all the wins that
Yeah.
RNG got, but what he wasn't excluding the teams that lost against RNG. And it's like
Yeah.
if it doesn't matter what champion RNG picks they're gonna win, then how can you mean the other team? Like how can you take the results of the Rumble that played against RNG if it
Yeah,
doesn't matter
especially when
what
those
champ they're
teams
playing?
were significantly worse.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, he skews stats very heavily. I think it's funny because he actually had a video on YouTube where he even talks about how people skew stats. He does it a lot himself. I mean, everyone does. It's why stats is actually the only math I enjoy and like is because it's important to know about stats and to so you can actually understand how easy it is to skew them and like actually be able to form opinions because they can be skewed easily. Um, but I mean, I think the biggest surprise for a lot of people would have been Arya from Detonation Focus Me, because if you watch that tiebreaker game, he literally just gapped Perks into
yeah.
oblivion.
Well, Arya's supposed to be really good.
Yes,
Like,
Arya is
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
be the best player
Mhm.
in all of Japan. So if you don't follow that scene, that might have surprised you a little bit to see Cloud9's best Western player in the world acquisition get gapped by this nobody, maybe.
I also think it was still
So
cockiness, though. That's a
yes,
big thing.
I actually when I came in and I saw how C9 played, my reflection was they literally got cocky
Yeah.
and they got knocked down a peg a lot. They're like I don't know
Mhm.
like after they beat DFM, they're like okay we slayed our demon like we're the best, and then they finish with their memes on Twitter about losing on purpose so they can knock out Hanuma Life before today happens, and then they go out and lose
Mhm.
and they still think they're still laughing. Like there's something about this team. I mean, I think you have like Blabber and Perks, and I think those are two of the biggest like ego players, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I definitely think they play with confidence.
Mhm.
So it's not like terribly surprising, I suppose, but I definitely think they need to check themselves. Um, I think they are lucky though because group the team they're going to be playing from Group B is much weaker than the teams they could have played from Group A in a best of five. As sad as it is for me to say, because my boys in peace are over there on the other side, but it's a much weaker team than if they were to play Unicorns of Love or Beyond, or maybe even Galatasaray in a best of five.
Yeah.
So
So, one thing I wanted to point out is if you ever notice, it feels like every region besides NA, like their goal is like they really want to win Worlds, really want to win. But NA like teams for some reason they don't have that like aspiration. Yes,
dude,
they say
they just
they
want to
just
make
like
it to like
yeah
group. If they're like a bottom team in NA, they just want to make it to groups of worlds,
yeah
or like they just want to make it to quarters or something. And like every other region's like finals or failure. Like
yeah.
Korea
It's like
they make you walk home if you don't win the finals. It's like you
it's
know.
like that old saying. It's like if you shoot for like a B, you're gonna get a C. If you shoot for an A, you're
Mhm.
gonna get a B. If you shoot for 100,
You
you'll
get a
get an A.
99. Yeah, you get
something
an
like
A
that.
or 99. Yeah.
Yeah, or 99.
Shoot for the moon, and if you miss, at least you're in the stars. Like.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's where I think the mentality is like, oh, even if we make it to groups, we're gonna get knocked out. But so groups are like our goal. It's like, well, here's the problem. You basically had
Bro,
groups secured,
dude, if you're
and
C9, especially for groups, like you should actually be looking at groups. Like this is the best group we could have gotten because if we get out of groups, we're winning worlds. Because we
yeah,
have the two favorites to win worlds are in our groups. So if we can get out, we win. That should be your mentality. It shouldn't be, oh, we're fucked.
yeah, especially that also brings NA to a new light. It's like, okay, if C9 somehow made it out of groups in like a
In-
really good
In the
group,
damn one
it's-
FPX rogue group, that'd be
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
like it's like so NA has something this year.
Yeah,
And
that's our third seed.
like, yeah, they have the potential. Like they have like of course people meme the living crap out of Blabber, but he's extremely good mechanically. He's one of the best mechanically like junglers out there, mechanical jungles out there. It's it's just how the team plays when they're on and when they're just messing around, and it's just 100 to 0.
These groups are really polarizing to me just because like I actually look at most of them and I go in my heart I could see literally any team going first, second, third, fourth in some of these groups. Like they look really close, but then I also go the history just shows like these top teams from China and Korea are just gonna smash everyone. Like so like as a fan of the sport, I'm hoping we see really close groups, which I feel like at least recently in the last couple of years groups have been getting somewhat closer. But like I don't know because like I look at Group D because that's the one confirmed group we have, which is
That's
Genji,
LNG, right?
TL, Mad, and LNG. And literally, aside from LNG, the other three teams are like the fucking same. They all play the same way, all three of them. And then you have LNG who shakes things up, but like those teams seem evenly matched. Aside from LNG, I actually think LNG is gonna shit on that group. But
Yeah, which is crazy. They've had the same plans.
they
So-
got their warm ups planned.
So this is kind of derailing stuff a little bit, but I do think this is probably the group that I find the most interesting, though. Like, we have Genji, who has a history of not doing the best, honestly, in my opinion, at Worlds. Like, yes, back when they were Samsung, they were able to contribute stuff, but like since their past few trips, like they just haven't really made it out, have they? Or haven't gone far?
No, because Genji, they've kept the same players, and they are literally a sleep team. Like they
Mm.
will do nothing early game, they will sleep all game, and then they'll just like scale and win. That is literally
Yeah.
all they do. They do it well, but that is all they do. It is like if they were to win worlds, it'd be the most boring thing ever to watch.
Mhm.
And so like I really don't want them to win because they're boring to watch and they're not as good as the top teams. It'd be one thing if they're like
It's
just
not the
better.
meta anymore either. It's
Yeah,
It's
like-
not.
Korea's gotten significantly worse for Genji to be here. But like it's rough, man. Genji's really not that good. But this
you
is
think-
unfortunately the best group Genji could have gotten because all the other teams play exactly like they do and Genji's the best at what they do. So
it's actually like a really solid world. So the fact that teams are almost like getting to a place where it's not like, oh, Korea's just gonna smash everyone. Right?
yeah, I mean like I look at group B and like I feel like if 100 Thieves are actually coming in good, you could make a case for them being better than T1.
What,
Unfortunately.
so FBI hard carries the team.
Well, I mean, because Closer's getting there really late, right, with his visa issues. So like,
Oh yeah,
they haven't been
That's so-
scrimming.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yes, they haven't been scrimming.
He's been there for over a week now, though, right?
Yeah, but I
If
mean,
not longer.
he was
It's
like,
the
he's
scrims,
like,
though,
he's like,
that's the
Yeah,
he's like
still.
what, like 3 weeks late? Two
Is
weeks
he?
late? Yeah, I mean, he's at least 2 weeks late.
Hey, at least he wasn't on tracking the pros.
So like, and then I look at Group C and like, I don't even know what the fuck's gonna happen. Like, okay, if we assume Hano Life goes to Group C, like, I don't even know, man. That group's crazy. But we still have play-in groups. So before, actually, we're going into Group B, because we were talking about the Brazil team, the red team, right? Did you know
Yeah.
that they were the sixth team? So
Yeah.
in Brazil, they only 16 playoffs. They were the sixth seed because
Yeah,
they
in
they were
regular
the
season.
in the regular season they were the sixth seed.
And like Pain Gaming was #1, and that's where
Yep.
like
Okay.
if Pain came in, they would definitely have a better
So
showing
so
than
so
what.
Pain was much better than the rest of the teams in Brazil, but like from 2 to 6, it's like it's like China almost. It was like 12 and 6, 12 and 6, 11 and 7, 10 and 8, 10 and 8. And then Pain was 14 and 4 in the regular season. So like they were close, but like it is really, it's cool that they're here, but it is concerning as well. Right?
They
Like,
made it to knockouts, so playing knockouts though.
but I mean, 4 teams from each group did, right? So
Yeah. Infinity.
hey,
Infinity from
I'm
Latin
taking I'm
Americas.
taking full credit for breaking Infinity's mental, man. I completely dumpstered their top laner in solo queue before he left. Okay, ruined his mental, man. Ruined his mental in solo queue before he left.
What was this?
Oh no.
This
Which one? Wait, I'm forgetting. Who's their top laner? Is it?
Boogax, right?
Oh,
You
Bugax.
got
Yeah.
Solid Snake and Boogax your top jungle. Yeah, I completely destroyed Boogax's mental, man.
Oh no.
I played Rivet against his Gnar. Oh man. But I'm not terribly like, I think Group B, I mean, maybe some people had Hanwha Life over LNG, but it's exactly the result that I expected from this group. It actually looks identical to my predictions. So I'm not terribly surprised to see this. I don't know if you guys were expecting Infinity or Brazil to be better, or
I
maybe
think
you were a Hanwha
the
Life believer.
I think the only real question I had, like looking at this group, was with Peace adding Vizichachi. I know that Vizichachi's good, but obviously they added him super late. So think that was the only question mark I really had for
He
that
hasn't played
team.
pro play
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Infinity.
Yeah, it's crazy. The fact that he's back here.
I mean, my biggest concern was like, okay, so if you know Chachi as a player, he was known for the tanks, but he actually wanted to be a carry player. Like, it's his regret. But for Peace specifically, their top laner is literally a carry. Oppie literally plays like the Camille, Jax, Fiora, like he was a carry top laner. And so it's a little weird that his visit Chachi as the one they picked to replace him.
I already like.
I
What I
guess they didn't
remember
have many
is
options, but
Krepo loved Vizichachi. Just absolutely loved him. And I was like, what is this like man crush with this guy? But the fact that he joined it was like 3 weeks ago.
something like
And
that, yeah.
able to play at Worlds, some players are just like, wow, what a lucky guy.
Oh man, it's pretty funny. Like, I don't know if like, I didn't even give Hanwha Life a chance against LNG, and they got blasted. It was really no surprise. Um,
hmm
I mean, sure, Chovy's Chovy, but like Morgan and Willer are
Yeah.
so bad. Oh my God,
Yeah,
Willer
it's a
is
1v9 team. Like Trophy has the 1v9.
yeah. I mean, even Deft sometimes was like. I mean, there was that one game where okay, Willer was playing Sedge. And I'm trying to remember who they were playing against. Maybe it was against LNG. Willer was playing Sedge and he ganked top and he like failed his Q flash, didn't hit the knockup, and at the same time his bot lane's getting sums blown while Jovi's just chilling mid with the CS lead.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me, man?
I
Oh my
I guess
God.
I'll kind of just ask this question. Do you think the 4th seed is good for like regions like China
I mean, for China it
and
is.
I think
Korea, or do you think?
Korea's just
Because
gotten
as of right now,
worse.
yes, I think so.
I
Yeah,
think
for
the
But it
fourth
me,
could
seed's
change in the future.
well, the 4th seed, the way they decided the 4 seeds was MSI, right? Whichever two teams were. So I mean, I like
I
that.
believe so. Yeah,
But like,
Yeah.
China definitely deserves 4 seeds.
China deserves it. Yeah,
Can
I
can
think.
can we give China 5 or 6 seeds, please? Because LNG wasn't even supposed to be at Worlds. They ran the gauntlet. I mean, you think
Yeah.
about it.
hmm
IG's not here. Top Esports with Knights not here. Fofo and RA's not here. Like WE, there's so many teams that were ahead of LNG. And LNG just miracle run to playoffs to be here.
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of
Watch just China's just like for the fourth seed, we're just gonna combine the best players from every team that didn't make it.
dude. Okay, okay. I mean, if LNG, I wouldn't want Jackie Love on LNG's team, but like if they could give Knight to LNG real quick, um, that'd be cool.
Mhm.
I would love to see Knight and Tarzan, man. Holy, that would be fun. Also,
Be
did you
pretty
know
good.
SOFM played for LNG at one point?
So FM.
SOFM.
Oh,
Yeah, there's another team that's not at Worlds, guys. Suning.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Suning was
Suning. They didn't even make
like
Worlds,
that's
man.
crazy actually. Because
They,
last year they
they were the finalists.
yeah
Yeah.
finals.
And all they changed was their support, and like that's how crazy China is.
I made the worst bold prediction saying that they were not gonna make it out of the groups. I ate those words. Thought they
No.
I was
I
like, you know what?
was
This is gonna make me win pickums right here.
I was depressed because when they got out, I was like, and I saw the bracket and they were only playing Chinese teams. I was like, they're actually gonna run this because like in terms of inter-Chinese play, like Suning almost always was upper hand on top esports and JDG, in like the regular season. So I was like, they're they're the worst of the three teams in terms of like how good their players are and like internationally, but like when they play each other, Suning always win, and they did. And I was just like, damn, that was a shame. That was a real shame.
It was
But
what? LNG beat WE
no,
in
I
no, I don't
thought
think they played each other.
FPX
Oh, are you
did.
talking about in the regional gauntlet?
yeah.
So in the regional finals, they did beat WE. Yes, WE had two chances to make worlds, and they lost both.
They had to beat RNG and then
RNG versus WE was the first qualification match where RNG won 3-0, and then LNG beat RA, and then LNG beat WE.
Okay.
that must suck.
Well, okay, to be fair, WE was on a 6-game loss streak, right? Because
Yeah.
they got 3-0'd by EDG and FPX,
Yeah.
and then they come into the qualification match, and RNG 3-0'd them, and RNG's probably one of the best teams in the world still, MSI
Yeah.
champions. And then they have so they lost 9 in a row, and then LNG's coming off a pretty easy series against RA, so it's like in terms of momentum, one team had it and the other team didn't. That's for sure.
I'm actually curious to see how Group C plays out. I think RNG is probably just gonna wipe the floor and just be number one in the group.
That would be my guess.
It's just they're just too good. I'm concerned of how I think Fnatic has the potential to finish second,
I think
but
I think tragically any of those three teams have the potential to finish second.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Because it's PSG's the third team in there currently, right?
yeah,
yes,
and then it's between
Hanwha and
see,
Fnatic.
Hanawa and C9, depending
Yeah,
on
so like if we just assume that C9 and Hanwha are gonna win their best of 5, it would be C9 Group A, Dead Nation Focus Me Group B, and Hanwha Life Group C.
dude. That
So
is a dangerous group A.
Dead Nation
such a s-
Focus, I mean that's like 100 Thieves are probably, I wouldn't say doomed, but like if it got hard, it just got harder for them.
It's
Yeah.
a struggle at that point.
There's
I definitely think like Beyond, or if they got Beyond or any of the other teams, it would probably be a little easier for them. But
yeah,
I mean, Group B's, I legitimately think it's a group of like whoever drops a game or has like that off day, because they always do the second round robin all in the same day or whatever. So if like you just don't show up that day, you're screwed, because even if you beat every team once, like I feel like this is a group almost everyone can beat every team once. Say like I don't think Detonation Focus Me can beat EDG, but like on the day maybe they could. I don't think it's a match you like go in ever picking Detonation Focus Me to win, but maybe on the day they do. Maybe on the day they do beat T1. And maybe you could pick them in a 100 Thieves match, and if 100 Thieves drop a game to them, it's over. It's kind of like the Team Liquid one. Oh man, who did they lose to? Because oh no, it was when they beat it's KT and KT beat IG. Or one of those groups, like they took a game off the team they needed to, so they were 1-1 with the other Korean team, but the Korean team beat the Chinese team and they couldn't. I think it was KT and IG in that group. Oh.
Oh, I actually wanted to ask, Beyond Gaming, speaking of which, they decided to play Draven in the tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I mean, Draven is really kind of insane right now, at least.
Isn't it also like playing to their one like win con? Like they want Doggo to snowball, don't they?
Yeah,
Typically?
Doggo actually has been playing really solid. Like his
Doggo
Ezreal is nasty.
is the best player in
Yeah.
considered one of the best players in their region domestically. And when it comes to Doggo, at least I wouldn't say he's played Draven. I don't think he's ever played Draven in pro play, but he's played Kalista, Caitlyn, Samira. Like he played 4 games of Samira. It's the second most played champion domestically this season. So he does like those types of champions.
He puts out a lot of damage as he's playing AC. There was a stat. I think it was before he went crazy on his 3rd game Ezreal, which he actually won. It was in a game he was putting out 41% of his team's damage.
Oh, I was wrong. He did play a game of Draven too.
Yeah, and I was like, holy crap! It's like, does he actually have to 1v9 that hard to the point where he has to put at 41% of his team damage? It's like,
kind of does.
Where's the mid laner?
He kind of
like.
So, in the summer season of PCS, he did play a game of Draven. He went 8-1-10.
Jesus.
And yeah, he.
That was before he got buffed too. Basically,
he had 80% kill participation that game. Yeah. So he did work on some Draven. In the summer playoffs, he did not play Draven though. He played Varus. Varus is actually his worst performing champion. He 2-3 on Varus, and 0-2 on Ezreal. He played Ziggs, Aphelios, and Kalista, and their wins for the most part. But Kallista's kind of pretty bad. What team played Kalista? Was it Beyond? There was a team in Plains that played Kalista, and it looked pitiful to watch.
I think it was.
It looked
Wait.
It looked pretty pitiful to watch. I mean, some of the comps start to run together, but if you guys watch them all, you probably remember the pitiful Kalista game.
Yeah. So I think one of the problems is that speaking for Beyond, even though Doggo, like, I think he's won 1 game on Ezreal. The other ones, even though he does really well on it, it's the team itself. Like, everyone else on that goddamn team doesn't let him get to the point where he could start 1v9ing. And basically, it falls onto Doggo's shoulder to play other champions to the point where he could carry fights, like, early on in the game, to actually dictate what's going to happen in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where his stats come in, that he was, like, really good. Like, his stats, that his win-loss on every other champion besides Ezreal was amazing. But when he plays Ezreal, he's never able to get to that point, because by the time it's like 10 minutes in the game, his team is like down like 5k gold across the map.
See, Beyond's like really weird. I think people really overvalued what happened. So like in spring playoffs, when Beyond was in spring playoffs, PSG 3-0'd them, sent them to losers bracket, and then when they met in the finals, they 3-0'd them again in spring. In summer, the reason people think Beyond's really good is because in summer, they actually beat PSG 3-2, and then when they rematched in the finals, PSG beat them 3-2. But I really feel like people overvalue that 3-2, that win. Like I really think PSG just underperformed because PSG just look so good compared to like Beyond. Beyond look really bad. They look down bad, man. They look
Beyond
down
would
bad.
be what, group C?
Yeah,
They
if
won,
they
right?
beat, yeah, they would be where PSG is.
Yeah, and that's like basically, I think, basically the same situation as what Cloud9 would be in. But
Because so I mean like PSG went 18-0 in the regular season, right? So like it's to me it's actually not surprising from an outside perspective to see that they so in spring they were 17-1. In playoffs they went undefeated. I think they went 9-0 in playoffs in spring, right? They lost a best of 5 to RNG 3-1, pretty close. Then they went 18-0 again. It's not surprising the first time a team in their region challenged them in playoffs, they faltered a little bit. Right? They were not used to it, and then sure it was a little closer, but like they were dominant in their region. Um, and I think it's really hard. Like, I think I hear people analysts talk about it with like NA, like sure it doesn't matter what players you bring in if the practice is really bad, they're gonna regress, and it's like it's really hard to know how good these teams are, even if they go super dominant in their region, because like the level of play in their region's so low that like how high can you get as a player only playing against bad competition, right? Because like you can't even make smart plays because you're just punishing the team you're playing against for being dumb, right? You're not actually doing anything yourself.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like, oh, it's like we won because we're better. It's like, no, we won because they were just worse. Like apparently,
Yeah, we won because they handed us the win.
yeah. Kind of just like just says, here, take this win, and we don't want to we don't want to into that.
Well, like I mean, like I'm sure it happened. I didn't watch all their games, but like I'm sure it happens in A all the time. Like sometimes you just win because the person you're laning against is just bad at laning, and like you just get a 30 CS lead on a champion you should never should, or some solo kills. Like the Aurelia, it's like when you see the good Aurelia Gnar matchups where the Aurelia solo kills the Gnar twice at level 1. Like
Yeah,
tells every
and
team
then
he's
Nar
back
has
and
4
kills them.
CS while it really has like 50.
Yeah, and then like so if you do that every game consistently in the Aurelia Gnar matchup, and then you play the Aurelia Gnar matchup against like the best in the world, and like they're really good at Gnar, and you can't kill them level 1, like it completely changes how you played the game. Because instead of this huge lead, now you're even, and the whole game is completely different,
Mhm.
and you just never get tested like that. I know it's been a discussion people have had for like scrims. They they like handicap themselves in scrims on purpose, so that way they get better practice. So like they go in like I think 100 Thieves I was watching, they would say they would go into a scrim and they would say like you're not allowed to solo kill your laner no matter what.
Oh.
Like so because like if you constantly win because you're just every game, I think it might have been Rogue, you just constantly win every game because in the first 10 minutes you just shit on them, and like the enemy team in scrims is just willing to give up, go next by like 15-20 minutes because the game's over. Like you're not actually practicing those late game situations, and I think 100 Thieves and Rogue specifically were the two teams that struggled with that late game domestically really badly. So it's not the worst idea.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's why I think it's like we backtrack into like the situation where it's better that C9 has to play through knockouts.
Yes, I actually think it's really good. Like they play the best of, and like I said, they're playing. I guess this leads in perfectly. They're playing against two of either team is worst in their group. I think one of the teams they could have gotten from their own group. Um, but who do you think's gonna win between Red and Peace? Like I can't even analyze. I'm not gonna be analytical. I'm just gonna pick Peace because Australia are my boys and I'm gonna support them. But I do think they're the better team. So it's just really hard with Chachi instead of Appy in top lane. But I do think they're the better team. But do you guys agree, or are you guys on the Red hype train?
I'm not on the red hype train, and I never was.
I I think like watching the game they played is really hard from an analytical perspective, like watching the game they just played, because both teams went into that game knowing no matter what happens, the only importance from that game was side selection. Whoever won gets side
Mhm.
selection game 1. But literally no matter what happened, they were gonna play each other in a best of 5. So
Yeah.
like how much do you show and all this comes into question, right? Whatever. So it's like looking at that game, piece one, they looked better, but was Red's heart even in it, right? Like, did they just not want to show anything at all, right? Like, any argument could be made.
Mhm.
I'm just hoping Peace don't break my heart. Just don't get 3-0'd. Please, just don't get
Yeah.
3-0'd. Please,
There's no way.
please, Peace. I mean, I agree, but I said the same thing when we put in Alex Reyes. I said there's no way we actually put this guy in against the fucking Dodgers, and then we get beat by the worst player on the Dodgers. Like,
No, that's too soon.
too
Oh,
soon, man.
no.
I'm a little bit angry
I
about
was,
that.
I knew that was gonna happen. I knew they were gonna
As
walk
soon
it
as they
off.
put, dude,
Really?
I thought it was, I was like, I take it back, because when Pujols came up, I said this is a fucking storybook, man. He's gonna walk it
Yeah.
off against us, and
Yeah.
then I was
He
like,
almost did.
I'll take it back. I'd rather him walk it off than losing to the worst player on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I don't know whose idea it was to put in our worst pitcher, but
Yeah.
not a good one. Baseball aside, because I'm gonna lose my mind thinking about my Cardinals choking. Um, what do you guys think? OCE too? Is that what I just
I
kind of
think
heard?
I think it's OC.
Oh my god.
Whatever
I haven't-
happens, though, I think Cloud9 has an easier match than Hanwha
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic. Like, if Beyond
interesting.
actually, so like Galatasaray, like we don't want to write them off, right? But
Yeah,
Beyond is the pool 1 seed.
Yeah.
So in theory they should be expected to win. And people do have somewhat high expectations for them. So like if they actually 3-0 Galatasaray and look good doing it, Hanwha Life maybe they're under pressure.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, do you think it depends how like Def does against Doggo? And
Well, I would love it if Def picks Ezreal and Doggo picks Draven.
Yeah. That would be
pretty funny.
um, but like, because we talked about what happens, right? If Hanwha and C9 win, but like if C9 wins and Beyond wins, right? Then all of a sudden C9's guaranteed Group C.
Mhm.
All of a sudden C9's guaranteed Group C instead of Group A if Beyond win.
That'd be a lot better for C9.
that'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be a lot better for C9.
And then
I think.
Beyond can go in Group A or B, and Detonation Focus could be A or B. So then they get the 50-50 of the Group of Death. I would
If
actually
B-
love to see Detonation Focus me in the Group of Death.
Group A,
that
they're
would
just-
be-
Just to be
yeah.
like the like when Clutch was in the Group of Death, like just because if they beat anyone, that team is screwed.
Just to play spoiler, yeah.
Yeah, that team is
Yeah.
screwed, right? And like, I would love. I mean, I would feel it'd be pretty funny too, because like Arya versus Doinby and Showmaker, which two best mids in the world, probably two of the top three best players in the entire world. I would love to see how he would stack up, because
Mhm.
like we said, he's kind of like Japan's best player. I would love to see that matchup. But maybe I also wouldn't. Maybe he'd get blown out of the water. Who knows? But it's a very interesting concept. Like Cloud9 would have liked to have already qualified for sure, but they get their warm
Yeah,
up,
definitely.
and if Deft chokes, man, Chovy, don't put all the pressure on Chovy like this, man.
Mhm.
It could be a good group for Cloud9.
The problem is
There's
if
still a lot to like watch, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I think it's in. This is probably the most excited I've been for play-ins in honestly years, because of how close it feels like these teams are.
I agree, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, because
Yeah.
like I do think other regions are stepping up, but like Korea also just got worse. Like aside from their, I mean, even T1 doesn't look good.
Faker's washed.
And Genji like is just a fucking.
Genji is Genji.
Gotta stop cursing. They're just like a storybook, man. They just do the same thing. They're so boring. It's
Mhm.
like
I l-
you have Damwon who are worse, and there's no one else. Like T1 is the team in my opinion, that has the highest ceiling from Korea, but they never get their stuff. They still haven't gotten their stuff together, and all the other Korean teams were so wishy-washy. And then you look at China, and it was like, I mean, IG didn't make playoffs. Like that region's that competitive that IG didn't even make playoffs.
I'm just glad that Worlds isn't in China and it's in a place where I could actually watch
These
it and not
games.
like have to wake up at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to watch
Yeah.
it.
What I think, just because you mentioned watching, right? I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know the why. Um, I'm sure it's out there. I haven't looked for it, but like highlights and re-uploads of worlds have to wait 24 hours to get posted.
Mhm.
Do you guys know why? I know I could find it. I'm sure
think
it's some sort of Riot
it's just
thing.
some sort of Riot broadcasting rule. I think I
Yeah,
know
it's a
that.
Because it's new to this year,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
I
I
get
think it's mainly because it's broadcasting rights and they have it copyrighted, right? So it's kind of like how Twitch has the same rule if you stream on Twitch. You can't have the same content like going at the same time on another place if you're affiliated
I think
or something.
it's also too because they do the read broadcast, right?
Yeah, they do the
So
rebroadcast
they
as
want
well.
people to watch either the rebroadcast or just go watch the VOD over
Yes.
going to YouTube. But like,
It
it's
wouldn't surprise me if part of it's also
it's
dealing
annoying.
with
But
the. It's annoying for sure, but I also think that because it also applies for like co-streams.
Streamers
Like
in.
they aren't
Yeah.
doing co-streams for Worlds.
Yeah.
They aren't
yep, they're doing
doing.
the live viewing thing with the second
Yeah,
thing, and then Captain Flowers is doing his a day after for the
yeah.
rules. He'd cast it live
Yeah.
with the thing on screen,
That's the
which
one
is
thing I'm kind of disappointed about. I
I
feel like
haven't watched it yet, but I'm
I am.
down. Yeah, I'm
It's just because
disappointed.
like of his mental health. He
Yep,
wanted to
Hmm.
sad.
take a break from it, but that's
I
actually
would
good for
love
him.
I would love it, okay, if Riot brings him in for finals out of nowhere, man. It's like he just comes onto the stage in the middle of the opening ceremony for finals, bro. He's like the hype man introducing or something. That would be great.
The fact that he came from like nothing to what he is today is crazy.
Yeah, rags to
It's
riches, bro.
Yep, he came from a house party and then
A
made it to the
freak came
LCS,
from a
made the
basement,
finals.
man.
Freak is still in the basement.
He should still be in the basement.
Oh no.
I'm not a freak fan. I'm sorry.
He's something. I don't know.
I have to mute every cast he's on or stop watching altogether.
Okay, so like I don't know if like Freak's main thing is he wants to become the villain and create like this like
Maybe he
infamous
does. Yeah.
repertoire of him, and it's working.
Yes.
Like there's so many people that hate him, and
Yeah.
gives him a
I
better
mean, like,
following.
my biggest thing with Freak is like, I legitimately don't know if he's serious or if he's trying to do it to either because he's being funny, like some of what he says is a joke, or because he's trying to just create discussion in general, right? Like he thinks it's the only ways people will talk about a certain thing is if he does this, and then it just makes discussion. Um, but like some of the things like I'm trying to remember the one that he just had with Dom, where he just like completely flamed some inaccurate thing about I will dominate. Like I can't. He does some really weird tweets to
Oh yeah,
put it nicely. Um, I'm just really not a freak fan, man. Um, so oh well. But
if our conversation always just comes back to Freak.
I hope not, man. I hope not. Oh, dude, he's like Diamond 2, man. Come on, he's really good. I
Oh
know, I saw
no.
that tweet from him the other day where
Better than
he's
me.
hit Diamond 2. Yeah. True. Oh, oh man. That's really funny.
This is definitely going to be shaping up to be a really good Worlds, and I'm glad I get to watch. When playing knockouts, first one is tomorrow, and then the round 2 is on Saturday, correct? And then no games on Sunday.
There's literally like a 1 day break from plans to Worlds groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some really quick turnaround.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing,
There's
though.
a 1 day break. There's a 1 day break.
So the season, like the World's finals, is like on the 7th of November, and usually it's like late October they finish. So they had to squeeze everything.
Yes. You know what's crazy though? Is so these teams they get drawn, right? So let's just go with everyone wins, right? Hanwha Life's first game is against Fnatic, and then LNG's playing Genji, and then T1 plays Detonation Focus Me. Back to back to back. And then Rogue would play Cloud9. Those would be the first games in the first day. Which, I mean, C9 versus Rogue would be big, because whichever team loses that is basically doomed for the group. After day 1. It's not completely unwinnable, but they'd have to pull like the Fnatic Miracle run from what was it 2017 with the Immortals group and all that,
Oh yeah, that they
where they won
yeah.
4 in a row or whatever.
yeah they were
Started out
terrible in the
0-4.
first week or
Started
first
out
day of it.
0-4, 1-2, then 1-2 tiebreakers.
Yeah.
The Detonation Focus Me versus T1 would be spicy.
So one thing, the fact that I'm working from home because COVID
Mhm.
is allowing me to actually become way into these Worlds and
Yep.
watch all the games. Like technically,
Mhm.
I was too busy today actually to watch the games today, but I saw like some plays in it, and maybe that's why C9 just shat the bed. Maybe my cheering them on is like a buff that they need.
No.
Okay. Let's go. I like that, you know?
I mean, what's the other common denominator?
True. It can't be
It's gonna be
anything
the
else,
other
man.
100,000 people, 100 million people, or whatever. I don't know. Probably 100,000 people that didn't watch the games. I don't know how many people are actually watching every game from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean I am, if I can. But I can't fully invest in watching every single game now.
That's why I can't wait for it. If
I
it's
can
when it's
watch
in
like
NA,
half of
when
them
it's in
maybe.
NA, it's gonna be the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we'll be there. Most of us will probably be there in
Oh,
person for
100%.
some of them, if not all of them. It's one of those like, uh, do you have? I can't even remember. Do you have to buy the tickets before you even know who's gonna be there? I don't even know when they release them.
I don't care. I'll still buy the tickets.
Yeah,
Well,
I
'cause
think it's
well,
still by them.
well,
So you
no,
don't get...
because would you buy for groups or would you buy for the knockouts, right?
I would
And
buy
like
it for
depending on
groups.
the groups, I'd want to be there
Prob-
for group games.
probably groups. is
I'd
what
probably
I'd-
still go with groups because I just like
More
the impact
games.
of those games. Just like, are you
Obviously,
talking about
it also
talking about
depends on
knockouts like
location.
group knockouts?
Yeah, like I would
Yeah.
if I had there's only one thing I could watch, I would always choose finals.
I'd watch finals.
But see, here's the thing, right? Like for instance, the year I wouldn't would be when it was SKT versus Rocks in the semifinals because that was the finals.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's certain matches that happen in semifinals that look like that could have been the finals. It's why I hate Worlds knockout format. I hate that it's single elimination. It's absolutely terrible.
It's so okay, it's gonna be in 2 places, right? If it comes to NA, it's gonna be in Madison Square Garden and LA.
Probably more than that. They haven't.
I think there's more. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they send
For-
it to Dallas or like Fort Worth area,
They haven't.
or
I don't know
even
if-
Chicago. Like,
As far as I know, they were gonna do it in multiple spots, right? Like that's
yeah.
because you have plans. Typically, you're in one area, groups are in another, semis and finals.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah,
typically
all I
almost
know
all in
is that
different
I'm
places.
going at least to a couple of the days.
Definitely.
If anything's on the East Coast, they'll probably go. If it's all West Coast, I don't think I would go.
What if that's in like Chicago or Dallas?
I don't know. Maybe. I
I
would
think
have
I
to
would definitely
really.
go if it's in Chicago and Dallas.
I
Go
would.
talk to Traxon in
I would
Dallas.
say I would definitely go, but like,
I would go stay with Traxon. I'd be like, yo, I'm staying with you.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, do you guys think like Galatasaray's got no chance? Turkey's dead. Can Turkey do it?
I mean, they're playing a lot better than like a lot of
I
Turkish teams in
mean,
the past.
they beat them the
So,
first time.
Yeah.
but the first time they were on fire. So
Were
I don't
they?
think. I don't think so. I don't think.
That was the first one they had, wasn't it? No, this is
Wait.
the second. No, yeah, the first. The first game Galatasaray played was against Beyond. It's the first game
Was it?
of their worlds. Yeah, because they beat
yeah.
them, then they beat UOL. So I guess you could say
I'm gonna
Beyond was
say
cold.
Beyond is gonna win 3-1.
I think Beyond is gonna 3-0.
In this game, passed over, and for understandable
For some reason,
I think it's 3-1
Unfortunately.
as well. Yeah.
I feel like Galatasaray has like the ability to take a game off Beyond, and
I think they have
that's-
the ability to. I don't think they will. But
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
they could. I mean, I could see it a 3-2. I could see, like you've mentioned, this is really close. I actually could see for both these semi, whatever we're gonna call them, both these first best
Round
of
ones.
fives, both
Yeah.
these first best of fives. I could see either team winning in any
Yeah.
amount of games, because they're close. Because either you can say because they're both bad or because they're both better, the competition's closer. Just in general, the teams are close enough that like it could go either way. I I really don't have any faith in Brazil though. I think that's
I
the
don't.
one where some people could say it could be close.
If it was pain, I would have been like,
If it was Pain, I would be like it's close.
Yeah.
With this team and how little they showed, they just looked like they died every game. And I mean, okay, if we only look at the LNG game, it started good, right? I mean, they were beating LNG for a little bit, so
pretty
but
crazy.
you know, I mean, that's like that just okay. That brings me to Detonation Focus Me. How many people actually remember that Detonation Focus Me almost beat Dam 1? They didn't like fluke into almost beating Dam 1.
Huh.
Like
I completely forgot about that.
like they were at the nexus of Dam 1. They were killing Dam 1's nexus. Right? Like
Yeah, it's after Eevee stopped getting absolutely just shafted by playing weak side top and playing Gnar versus Irelia every game.
yeah, like
And
you know, like DFM like almost did it, right? Like they put up a pretty good fight. And it's one of those two like because you gotta think about it. If they did beat Dam 1, right? Dam 1 would be 4-2 tied with C9. The fucking the arc of that one for that group, that would have been hilarious. But like for Unicorns of Love, this has been a terribly disappointing year because they dominated Russia again, but they went out in the first group stage of MSI, losing to Pentonhead.
Yeah.
and then they went out here and 4 out of 5 teams make it. They didn't even make it to best of fives because they if you didn't know, they call themselves a best of 5 team. Like that's what they're good at. And
Yeah.
they didn't make it there at either international event this time.
yeah, and I mean, you could call yourself a best of 5 teams, but if you're not gonna get there, then what's the point?
Exactly.
They definitely played spoiler with C9 though.
Yes.
They could have had a chance of making it. If they won tiebreaker versus
Yes, they did not go out quietly,
Young.
but that's the thing, right? Like no one would have expected them to be the team going out. I think people pretty much had Galatasaray as that team.
100%.
Like I'm pretty sure 90% of people were just thinking it's a battle between the other 4, and Galatasaray is kind of like the one playing spoiler instead of Unicorns of Love playing
Yeah,
spoiler.
there's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a Turkish team, you know.
Yeah, the Turkish team's the one playing spoiler, and like they still, yes, they still can play spoiler, like, but
They
in the
just go
group,
through knockouts. They beat Hanwha. Like everyone's like,
Oh
what just happened?
wow. Yeah.
I mean, okay, if they beat Beyond and they beat Hanwha, I mean, C9 would probably not. C9 would might thank them. It's better than Hanwha. It's a 50-50 chance, right? But like I mentioned, I mean C9 should. I guess you don't. In terms of your org, you're gonna want Group C or what? You're gonna want the easier group, right? So like if you make it farther, it looks better or whatever. But like in terms of actually wanting to win, like going into Group A is probably your best bet because if you can stop one of those two teams from going into playoffs, then like your odds of winning the world championship just got better because
Oh yeah.
two of the favorites are in that group. So, but in terms of wanting to get out of groups only is your only goal, then yes. But like if you get out of groups as a second seed, right? Like from Group C, well, what if you just draw damn one now? Or you get out as
And
a first seed, but then you draw FPX, right? Like or vice
Yeah.
versa, right? Like,
oh, I don't know. If you're first seed and you draw FPX, that is not
dude,
fun.
if RNG, if like the thing that would make me lose my mind is if RNG draw FPX round one of playoffs, because I legitimately think RNG has a chance to win Worlds, and I think FPX do too, and I would hate to see those two teams in quarterfinals, which is why I hate the Worlds format. Because if it was
You think
double
that should be like a
elimination,
double elim type thing?
well, just think if it's double elim, how many better matchups we'd get, right? Like, so if it's like RNG FPX round one and one of those teams lose, and it's like EDG and LNG round one and one of those teams lose, then like you could get EDG versus like Damwon, EDG versus FPX and like a losers outmatch, right? Like the there's so many possibilities with double elim for better matchups. Like I mean, when you look at the teams, right? Like you kind of want to see Damwon play FPX, and you want to see Damwon play LNG and RNG and EDG. You want to see T1 play those teams. Like those are some of the best matchups you could get at Worlds.
Yeah. I think that's kind of one thing that I've been interested in. Like, there's been a lot more people just like talking about how the world's format feels boring to them at this point. I think
I
one
mean,
of the
the
biggest ones that
play-ins format is better,
well, not
man.
playing, well, not playing. I mean, the world's format
No,
in
no, I know.
general.
I'm saying the play-ins
Yeah.
format is better than the actual group stage format almost.
Like the biggest critic I can name off the top of my head has just been Nemesis. He's been really frustrated with how Worlds has been so boring recently, just due to the fact that it always feels like it plays out the same way. We don't get the hype matchups. We don't get as many hype matchups as we should, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I mean, like like this year, right? We have Damwon and FPX in the same group, right? So
Mhm.
say it's FPX that's the second seed. Well, now they're gonna play a first seed, right?
Yeah.
So they're playing RNG, LNG, T1, EDG. They're playing one of these top teams, and that means one of the best teams in the world potentially could go out. Like if you were to rank your top three teams, one of them's going out in quarterfinals, like guaranteed. Potentially, right? Because it could be Damwon, right? Second seed, but then they could be playing against EDG, right? And you could have EDG, Damwon, and FPX as your top three teams, and one of them's gone in quarters because they had to play each other in quarterfinals, which is absolutely crazy, you know? Because there are years where it's like you have literally like I think it was 2 years ago, maybe it was even last year. No, it was last year. Top Esports, JDG Sunny. Like China literally cannibalized itself, and then you just have like these teams that make it to semifinals that are like, look how far we made it, guys. Like, or like when like some of the one I think one of the times Fnatic made it to the World Finals is like kind of lucky that IG was just cannibalizing China on the other side of of the bracket. Because, 100 Thieves calls that year a win, by the way, because the two world finalists were in their group. So technically, the only teams that beat them were the two world finalists, you know? So 100 Thieves is really the third best team in the world that year, out in groups. I saw that the other day on their the heist episode, as they were saying it as a joke, because the only teams they lost to at Worlds were the two World finalists that year.
Dang.
It's
But-
actually crazy to think about. Oh man. Well, that's just about everything for Worlds, huh?
That's just about everything for
Yeah.
Worlds, yeah.
Well, that's
Big ups, we
I
gotta
mean, we only
be-
had knockout play-ins right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, who are you guys sticking with Hano and C9 or the last two?
I mean,
I think Beyond and C9.
I'm saying Beyond and C9 actually.
I don't think Chovy hasn't looked good enough. He's looking good, but he doesn't look as good as I thought he would. And
yeah.
I honestly, I really just don't want
Really, you have
Morgan
to
and
go with
Willer.
Galatasaray.
No, I think I'm just going with Tynla still.
Okay.
I'm hedging my bets.
Dude, I just don't want to see Morgan and Willer in group stage.
I don't
mean-
either, but
I mean,
it's
I kind of
just
do
so
in a way,
hard.
and
It
like
would meme the living shit
sad-
out of them if
as a
they
sad-
do shit like they
as a
did.
sadistic way, I do. But like their group isn't. I don't look at their group and go, man, these are the best mid jungles in the world.
It'd be
Um,
like like the big matchups
it-
in the top lane for that group would be like Xiaohu, fucking Morgan,
Adam.
like Adam, yeah, like I don't that top lane pool just doesn't impress me. But like I think the mid lane pool is what saves it for me.
Hanavi, like it's
Yeah.
like it's hilarious. I mean, that is the saddest thing is Chovy would be the best mid in that group by far. Like Niski is looked okay, but like Cryan is RNG's weakest link, and Maple's not like a 1v9 solo carry god. So that is probably the weakest pool of mid laners in Worlds, right? Because Group A has got the two best in the world, and then Group B is still Scout, who smurfed LPL finals, absolutely destroyed Doinby, which is great. He was smurfing, and then Faker I don't think they brought closer, so just Faker. And then I mean, and then you got Humanoid, who's supposed to be the best EU mid, I think, is what people call him. So I mean, like, it's probably the weakest pool of mid. I mean, maybe Group D's pool is kind of weak, but like BDD's no slouch. And Icon and Jensen are like kind of bad, I guess. But it is a good pool for Chovy, but I don't think he makes it, man. I think if Beyond, I wish I could say after I watch this best of 5, because I think depending on how well Beyond play would decide my answer. But I think they're gonna 3-0, so I think they'll beat Hanwha. But on to something more fun. Okay, Bjergsen's back, bully.
Mm-hmm.
He should be back for TSM, because if he goes anywhere else, I think he has to sell his.
I think he still has
I
to
would think
sell it
so
no matter-
too.
He has to sell it no matter what, no?
I
No,
don't
no. If he
know.
plays on TSM, he doesn't.
Not if he's playing for the team he
I'm-
has equity in. Because he had
So,
the equity
He
as a
had
player.
equity when he first signed his contract and he played
Yeah,
for them.
he had the equity as
So-
a player before, right?
That's my question though. Like, didn't C9 get into a whole big old thing when they tried to give Sneaky and Jensen equity while they
There
were still
was
playing for the
there's
team?
a thing putting it in contracts that was becoming a problem. But if it's already there and is like,
Yeah,
I don't think
no.
they can do anything about it.
I don't know. I just know that, like, I know for sure if he was to go to a different team, he has to sell.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
don't
he has to sell if he goes to another team. I think
don't
I'm still
imagine
questioning-
he's going to another team, which, as a fan, I don't want him to play for TSM. I want to see
Mhm.
him. I would love to see him play in China, but I just want to see him play. I saw a meme the other day from Jacob Wolf. Oh
the
my
evil
god.
Jacob Wolf.
Did you see
Yeah.
the tweet? I gotta find it.
Yeah.
The team with him and double lifting.
Oh, that was not the one I. That was not the
No,
one I
no,
saw.
you
I
didn't
saw
see
the
that?
one. I saw the one saying Reckless and him are going to LPL, but
Oh no, I'm pretty sure this one was a double lift.
Oh, actually, hold up. So it was 2 years ago, and it says there's no active player is allowed to own equity within a team. So was his contract is when he became a coach?
Maybe.
I think it got reworked when he became a coach. That's when the equity got added, I thought.
So he would
Maybe,
have
yeah.
to. Okay.
I guess he would have to
So
sell then, yeah. If
yeah,
he's coming back, because he says he's unretiring, so he's probably
Yeah.
selling.
maybe he's not playing. Maybe he's just unretiring and just becoming coach.
What?
And maybe he only meant he's unretiring as a coach, man.
Becoming coach slash like a just like constant like I don't know head of a coach.
That would be funny, bro.
If he unretires, do you think he actually plays for TSM?
I don't know. It's so hard to say he's going anywhere else. No, it was
What happened
reckless.
to
You're
PoE?
right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what will happen to
So
PoE.
that's the
Did you see the evil Jacob Wolf tweet where he was like, "I'll go play jungle for you, PoE
Oh,
or
no.
whatever."
I don't think there's. If Bjergsen played jungle, that'd be so weird.
No, yeah, no. So no, it was all in his tweet. It wasn't that. Okay. So it was the one where Billy was talking about with them joining with Reckless and the evil Jacob Wolf tweet. Ninjas in pajamas was gonna join LPL with Bjergsen and Reckless.
Mhm.
and it there's a quote he had from PoE, which is, "You can't do this to me, man. Everywhere but CLG, not that
This just
org
in,
again."
double lift unretiring.
He said originally he wanted to play for TSM, but he feels bad for PoE when only CLG shows interest in the player.
Jesus.
I love evil Jacob Wolf. That's great. But Riot Games allowed Bjergsen to keep all his shares in TSM FTX under the condition that he is not allowed to play if they ever meet at Worlds or MSI. Knowing TSM, he should be fine.
Wait, I
That was
feel
a
like
great
hold
quote.
up. When
That's a
did
great
this
quote.
when did this contract get reworked?
I couldn't tell you.
I can't remember off the top of my head either.
Sign 2019. He signed a 2-year contract extension. Yeah, it's 2019 he became part
Then he
owner of
played after that.
TSM.
So like
October 2019. So yeah, he played in 2020, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so
Huh. Interesting.
Oh wait, okay, so it's a possibility he got it before LCS said that no active player can have it. Because
This
it would be
was-
unfair to Bjergsen if
this
that was
was-
the case.
October 14th, 2019. So
Let's see.
But even then, like, they still had issues back in,
I
like,
mean, so but there's
what,
also
2017 regarding that?
but so even with it could have been like he doesn't get the equity or the shares until after like a year. Like maybe in his contract he knew he was going to retire to be a coach. So it's a 2-year
Mhm.
contract, and in the second year is when he gets the stuff, so he could
Okay.
play.
So the fine for Cloud9 was in November 21st, 2020. Wait. Why is this 2020? No, it's definitely it was earlier than that.
It's earlier than that.
Oh, it's 2019.
2019, okay.
Yeah.
That seems...
So it was like a month after Bjergsen got his contract.
Interesting.
That's... Huh. Weird.
Because wait, prior to 2017. So 2017 is when that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So I think there was, if it was a deferred stocks or equity into the company, then that's what actually is the
yeah,
reason.
he was a shareholder, but he's coming back.
Well, it's the same thing. If you're a shareholder, it's still considered equity. So it's like it would he would have to sell it.
So
But since it was deferred, that's what actually gave him that like loophole.
is anyone else coming back, do you think? Or is it just Bjergsen?
I wish Double Lift came back.
He's making too much money, man.
Yeah.
Bjergsen wasn't streaming or anything, so he wasn't making too much money, you know.
Yeah. I
Double
mean,
Lift
if you're a pro player, it's actually super hard to stream.
Yep.
Because you're already dedicating like 12 hours a day to scrims and reviews, maybe more. It could be like 12 to 14. And you're gonna spend another
And sleeping, and then you're doing solo
Yeah.
queue, and you don't want to stream your solo queue games and then have people
Yeah.
queue snipe you, troll you, ghost you,
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Like
So
if you want to stream while being a pro player, you have to be dedicating like 20 hours of your life to League of Legends every day.
yeah, it's a lot.
I'm not sure how much like off time they have, but
There was a team, it might have been 100 Thieves that released their, or was it C9? It might have been C9. They released a little chart that showed how much of their day was spent doing what during like Worlds. It might have been C9. And I think they got like 2% of their day for free time or something. But you'd have to look. It might have been more. It's probably more because they did like team workouts. They had review. They had a morning meeting. You know, they had 2 scheduled meals a day and then like 8 hours for sleep. With like, I think it was 8 hours of scrims. And then they were supposed to play 4 hours of solo queue. So that's what, 16, 20, 22. So they had like 2 hours of free time probably. So
Hmm.
people don't realize how hard it is to be a pro player, man.
they're like, oh my god, they make so much money. But like in theory, they even if you have a bad like if you don't want to play League of Legends, you have to play League of Legends.
Hey, I can tell you, minor regions don't make much money.
They
So
Minor regions don't. That's why they come to NA and
you,
Western.
you probably make you probably make more playing academy in NA than you do playing pro play in other regions.
Oh, most
Unless you
likely.
are the team winning, because then maybe the prize pool from winning the playoffs is more.
Mhm.
But
Like,
yeah,
um,
I mean Bad Bip and I think even Tally played in NA. I think he was on academy too. I know Bad Bip was because he was on TSM academy,
What was
and now
it?
he's at Worlds. I think Tally was the
Yeah,
other one.
okay, it was Academy.
Yes.
Tally was on
Golden Guardians or
Guardian.
EG, one of the two. Yeah, because both of
Yeah.
them were former Academy players, and now they're
Mhm.
at Worlds. That'll show you TSM, huh? You got rid of him from your Academy team, and he's at Worlds, and you're not. It has nothing to do with him going to a different region. That's a little easier to
Just
compete.
it's like yeah, they just take a big pay cut to make it to Worlds. Like yes, did it.
I mean, it's worth it for some players.
Yeah, they get a portion if they make it to what is it? It's a payout for Worlds.
You have to make it out of groups. No,
I think you have to make it. Yeah, you have to make it
into not top 8.
No, I think you have to be top. I think you have to make it into groups to get paid.
Oh, like right now.
Oh nope, it's top 8.
It's top 8, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
5 through 8's 100k. So also that actually doesn't even look like that big of a prize pool. I mean, it's 500k, but I feel like that seems smaller than.
it's. Oh wait, no. If you
Oh, that's
see
the
the place 9 to
smallest.
24, everyone.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. So
22,000 for Unicorns of Love. Let's go. Yeah, so I mean, if
Infinity
they
gets 22,000, like
so if
I
they can
mean,
just you get 22k to go 0-4, bro.
Yeah.
There's if Peace just win, then they move up to 38 instead of 27. So there's some flavor for our match, huh? It's an $11,000 match. Just this one best of 5, because if they win it, they're 17th or 18th guaranteed,
yeah,
and they can get that much.
yeah. But think about how much that thing is split among the like staff
Yeah,
players.
but it's still
Oh my God.
11,000 more
Yeah,
than
yeah.
it is
I'm
before.
not saying like
I
it's
know.
like going to Worlds. Like if you come out of Worlds as Unicorns of Love, only making 22,000.
Yeah.
That is like each player will probably get like $1,000.
Okay, but like hear me out here, man. The thing about that, right? Do you know how much they won for their summer playoffs?
Too much.
They won. What is this? I can't translate it. It's 2 million. It's 2 million Russian rupees. Hang on, I gotta do this translate. Let's do the math. They made. Oh, that doesn't seem right. This
2
is
million is 27,860.
so they made what 5,000 more for winning.
Yes.
So they made 5,000 more for winning than they did for going to Worlds.
Okay, so that's okay. This is completely actually no, it's actually still on topic. But the fact that League of Legends still has just such a shitty prize pool compared to like, other
Isn't
tournaments, it's crazy.
Dota's like insane?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't it like the winner is basically guaranteed $1 million?
I think so, if I remember correctly.
Let me check. I'm gonna look up Dota's prize pool. Their total prize pool for 2021 is $40 million.
Jesus,
What?
Yeah, so like of everything.
that's for.
I
Is that
mean,
just for TI or is it for other tournaments as well?
It's everything.
so
Okay.
for instance though, with
Wait, Dota 2 International is 40 million prize pool. Wait a minute. What? This one tournament? No way.
yeah,
Wait,
TI, right? International
TI is
21. That's like the
TI is like
international.
always insane.
Yeah, it's 40 million for this one tournament.
Jesus
So
Christ.
so the winner of this Dota tournament is 18 million. Second is 5, third is 4, fourth is 2.5, fifth through sixth is a million and a quarter, seventh and eighth is $1 million. So if you make it to top 8, you get $1 million. If you were the last place team, you still get 100K. So
Yeah,
the
the funny
last
thing
place
is
team in this,
the
so
base
much more.
prize pool is 1.6 million, right? And the
The battle pass
contributed prize
sales.
pool is 38.4 million.
Yep. I was about to say, so that's the thing with Worlds, is the contributed hasn't been added in yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
A
That's true.
percentage of the revenue from designated in client sales is yet to be
Yeah.
added. I don't. Let me look at last year's, right?
But I'm
Because
pretty
you would
sure
have
Dota
it.
is still going to be more.
So
'Cause I
last
know
year's,
Dota's crazy.
no, so last year's they started with the same,
Mhm.
same base, and for instance, this one was 556,000 for first place. What is it this year right now? Base 489, so it's only not even 100K more.
Mhm.
So it's still way smaller.
Yeah, like not way smaller. It's like way smaller. Like winning one
6.5
title at
million
like the
smaller.
international for Dota, winning one title will set you for life.
I mean, just think. Well, I mean, even like Call of Duty, right? Their first place team got 1.2 million.
Fortnite.
1.2 million
Yeah.
for first place.
That's just insane.
Now the prize pool was the same amount, or a little bit more, is 2.5 million. They just spread it differently because they do have less teams as well. But
League of Legends that's poor, I guess.
okay, but
Riot
Riot Games is funding
Right? Games is full indie
indirectly.
company. Come on.
Indirectly, they fund China because half their profits go to China. So
Yeah, because fucking Tencent.
yep. But initial thoughts about the new season changes, guys. They released their video. They said they're going to give us some new dragons, a couple new mythics, some disgusting legendary items that sound like cancer, and a new bounty system, among other things. Dragons.
I think every season they do something crazy. Like no one knew what to expect this season because it's like, okay, so they did dragons a couple seasons ago. They did items. They did map.
I kind of figured something was going to change with runes and dragons because it's been so long. It doesn't sound like they're doing it with as much as with runes as what I thought they would do. I think they're just changing lethal tempo. They said they're reworking inspiration. But
who uses glacial augment anymore besides like Senna?
Yeah, I think that's why they're changing it.
Lethality Scion.
True.
Even then, he probably goes Phase Rush.
No, he still goes Glacial.
Yeah, he still goes Glacial. Phase Rush is not as good because like Glacial gives you
the slow.
The
you already have the speed.
Phase Rush.
You can't get the 3 autos off if you don't have Glacial.
Well. Yeah,
but the
like,
new dragons are crazy.
That's my biggest worry about this.
They're gonna get nerfed
about this new
a couple times. They might even like the teleporting map.
Yeah, the teleporting map is
people are
a
gonna
little.
lose. You're gonna see a whole bunch of Twitch or YouTube like highlight channels just full
Yeah.
of streamers raging or making insane plays using the teleporters.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't like that. I
Like you're
don't
gonna
like how
see
that's a thing.
you're gonna see Shaco send his clone through the teleporter and then go through it, and it's gonna like some dumb stuff's gonna happen. I don't. I'm trying to remember the picture I saw where they were. It was like near Raptors pit. Like I don't know where they take you. I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's the thing.
I
I don't
don't
think
think
anyone
it's not.
knows.
I don't think they're gonna do anything crazy. Like I was memeing when I said I think they'll put teleporters in alcoves. I really hope they don't do that. God, if
Imagine a
a
raptor to
sup-
raptor.
a support just showing up from middle of a bot lane 2v2 to top lane, like
Dude, imagine just Evelyn. Evelyn going through teleporters.
did
Just
he
like,
Yeah.
stay
Oh
invisible?
God.
You know?
yeah. Just like, oh look, I found where the junglers.
Can
Time
you
to go
can
back
you
to my jungle.
dodge Karthus ult with it? Can you dodge Caitlyn ult with it?
Oh.
Cause Ryze ult you can dodge Karthus ult.
Yeah.
Does the teleporter work the same way? Is it instantaneous?
So it's
Is it a
just
second
dragons.
delay? Right? Like
Yeah.
Is it just a massive bard portal?
yeah,
It
right?
could be.
A bunch of unanswered questions. Dude, imagine if it
Yeah.
is a bunch of unanswered questions.
You know how many bugs there's gonna be? Like,
A
There's gonna be
lot.
so many bugs. Week 1.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessary to add to the game, and that's of course they want to add more hype to the point where it's like, oh, we want to make it different every season, so there's like a new meta, new like crazy wacky thing to it. And adding a teleporter is just gonna frustrate more and more players, especially when
I think it's a cool idea. I just think in terms of league, it's probably not the play, but
Mhm.
we'll see.
what if
We
there's a
will
way to
see.
block the teleporters?
I don't know. Can you put a ward in front of it so they can't click it like a
Blitzcrank
thrush
hook
lane
someone
through?
into the teleporter?
You blitzcrank cook as the cluster goes
You
into the
just you
teleporter
just
and
get
pulls
the
you.
free ballista now, pretty much. You yoink someone through a teleporter.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Wait, what if skill shots travel through the teleporter? So like you can
Oh
throw an
God.
Ezreal Q and it goes through it.
There's
Oh
so
my!
many unanswered questions. So
It's like
there's
it almost
been.
sounds like a game mode, right? Like it's just
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it sounds like a game mode, and that's the problem I think with it.
that's
Is
my
like,
problem. Yeah, it's like how am I supposed it sounds like something I would do for fun, but then I'm actually and I don't think they said if they're getting rid of dragons, so like 6
I feel like
dragons.
it. I
I kind
feel
of
like it
like it,
brings less less consistency into the game.
which I
Like
think is what they're
obviously
going
there's
for.
yeah,
Because from
but
what they said,
it's
they want to create new circumstances and like make people have to play the game like differently every game. Like they don't
mhm.
want you to approach every game the same way. So it sounds like it's what they're going for, but like yeah, it's gonna be less consistent. And with I like 6 dragons because I like that
The soul
it's not a
variety is something that
50-50, right?
yeah.
Like but like with these 2 new dragons being OP, like it sounds like you basically have to dragon stack.
Mhm.
I am guessing they're gonna change the way it works, and it's gonna be 5 for Soul now,
Yeah, I think that
5 or
becomes
6,
interesting though.
but probably
That
not
becomes
6,
interesting.
because
no, I don't think they can make
I
6.
think they
It's just
want the
too
game.
long of a game.
Yeah, they want the game to end fast, so I think it'd be 5, because you can still kill. Maybe they'll even make dragon spawn a little sooner, right? But
Yeah,
like I
if
think
it has
5
to
is
go
enough.
if you ever get to a game where it's 5 drakes versus 5 drakes, that's just gonna be hell.
Because like if you think about it, then you get 3 plus 2 of the same, and then there's only two left out instead of like every game
Hmm.
it's one of
Mhm.
4 dragons for soul, right? Like that's a little weird.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's really inconsistent. So
It's just
So
more RNG.
the other thing is like they're adding new mage items, correct? Or like
one
looking to
one new
one?
mage
There's
item.
2 mythic items that they added.
Yes, the
Or
first is a mage item that I think they said when you take damage, you get damage reduction. There's like a damage reduction thing around you, and however long it lasts, you get ability haste while it lasts.
Oh
Not really clear about how
God,
it's gonna work,
no.
but like the one they showed was a Xerath and a Talon jumps on him, and he took like no damage from the Talon full combo
God.
because of the damage resistance. Like, and then the tank one is when you CC a target, the area around the target, champions that are in that area take more damage if they're in that area. So not like an area thing, but like if you CC the AD carry and the support standing next to him, the support will take more damage for like X amount of
Yeah.
time or something. Which
It's like an AoE Abyssal Mask effect, kind of, right?
yes, basically. But I don't know if
It wouldn't proc on the.
procs on the
probably wouldn't
person you
proc on-
stun,
Yeah.
or if only the area around them, or what.
So the new mage item just makes me instantly think people like Lissandra and Callie are just gonna be even stronger. That
I agree.
seems
See, here's the thing with this tank
stupid.
support item is I'm just sitting here
It's
like
not going to be a support item. It's going to become a tank item in general.
yes, it could be a tank item in general. Someone like Malphite, right?
Maokai, yeah.
But how does it work?
Sejuani.
How does it work with Abyssal Mask? Do they stack?
That's
Because
the
if I'm
interesting,
playing
yeah.
a Leona and a Mumu or Malphite, like I'd build both. Do they stack?
Yeah.
They can take like what 30% more damage now. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like that one doesn't that one should not have the Cinder effect realistically.
and like it's just gonna be like last season where I mean even now
Mhm.
Gore Drinker is broken, but like
Yeah.
some of these items coming out of the gate. My scariest one is the one where the new assassin item that's gonna get the one they're making another new ability haste one, but they're making one where when you on champion takedown a portion of your ult cooldown is restored.
No.
And I'm
You
just
didn't.
I'm just kind of scared about that one
Mhm.
because it's not just assassins, right? Like I think about someone like MF who can build lethality. What she tell me she kills like two people with her ult. Like for me, because I play MF, I've always liked that with MF I can like ER and just burn someone's flash or kill them. Right, so if you're
Mhm.
saying I just solo ult someone, I get my ult back sooner, and I can solo ult someone again.
Mhm.
Like it's crazy to think some of the what they intend for the item versus how they turn out.
You know, might as well, even if it's not cost effective, just build on a Karthus. Sell it later.
Oh my god. See, it depending on how cheap it is,
Yeah.
right? If it's like Umbro Lave 2400, because you remember the Manamune phase on Karthus, where people were
Yeah.
building the AD Manamune
Oh god.
because of the way it works with ability damage. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, dude.
Like-
I mean, I would sell boots. I think there's a legitimate argument like 6 items sell boots. Like early game, maybe you could rush it.
So
but
Mhm.
if the fact that if you get early, like ahead early game, and you're able to randomly build this item and just stack Dark Harvest by just constantly ulting and getting
just
kills,
global pressure. Like your team
just
can
global
just keep
pressure.
fighting because you always have ult. Like
yeah, exactly. And that's like, what are you gonna do in Karthus? Like your early game is basically like you clear the wave and not play
power
like
farm.
an idiot. And I'm this is like Karthus mid lane for me, but like in jungle it's even like better because all you have to do is stay in your stay in your jungle, clear waves, press R, and keep going until
I mean,
your
like for
cooldown's,
instance,
like,
I played a game at Karthus literally the other day where like I I actually started the game like 0 and like 4, and I literally got to win the game while doing the most damage for free while just inting because I built Leandries and I just run in and die and then press R, right? Like it just power farmed the whole game. Show up and press R and like you do the most damage.
exactly.
It's kind of a silly champion in a way.
When I played Karthus, I literally use my ult early game to get Dark Harvest stacks. If we get the assist or kill,
I
great.
use it. Yes. If when you're like in comms, right, you literally just say, "I have my ult." Just start fucking fighting, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
you just say, "Go ahead and start fighting." You
It
press
creates
R.
pressure. It
Yeah.
creates so much pressure.
Mhm.
And I mean, most spot lane 2v2s, especially, they're not keeping track of jungle levels. So like, if it's right when you hit 6, they're gonna take this 2v2, and then all of a sudden a Karthus ult shows up too, and it's like it's kind of tilting.
Mhm.
So
Same thing with like Soraka ult, but like
yep, for solo winners, yeah. And then one of the last things was new bounties on objectives
is
such as
disgusting.
towers.
yeah.
I dislike it. But I guess the good thing is maybe it's easier to solo carry. Because if you're playing the split pushing champion, you can get a bounty by killing a tower in a side lane and get your team more gold. But like it doesn't sound very. It just sounds like I don't want to be winning as hard. because the enemy team gets an easier time to play the game if I'm winning hard.
It's
Yeah.
it's like why should we go for this Baron when we're like 10k up? If they steal it, we're absolutely just screwed.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep,
don't know.
but then it's like now we can't leave it unboarded too because
yeah.
they can just do the Baron and get like the Baron already gives them what 300 gold each. Now it probably gives them like 600 or something crazy
Mm-hmm.
because
Like-
Riot will make it.
Like usually like a 5k gold lead was like okay, this is like a 80% chance that we win this game. But like one bad fight can turn into like literally a 5k gold lead could turn into like a 1k gold lead with the bounties.
Well, because it makes me wonder about especially like with Baron, for instance, and Dragon, when they do these things, are they going to add extra XP as well onto the bounty? So
That
not
would
only would you get gold, but you get a little bit of XP. So like if as a team, like your whole team wide level was like 2 levels down or something, you get an extra level from it.
I don't think they could do that.
I don't think they
That'd be,
would, but imagine like this is Riot, right? Like they've put some crazy things in the game. If that would be
Doesn't that just
something
like
if they put in the
doesn't that just
game
put like late
would
game team comms just like
make them better.
actually into effect?
Yes, because right, you fall behind early and then you just
Yeah.
go take a dragon and get 2 levels. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
think they would do it, but if they did, I don't think it would last because it's it's a pretty bad idea.
Like even with the bounties, it's like okay, if the opponent lead grows, you sack the first 2 dragons, you get to the point where your comp is into mid game to late game, which is where you want to be, while the other team's comp is early game, and you look for a fight that's more advantageous, and then it's like you just get it and get dragon, you get more turrets, you get more objectives, and you somehow come with the lead even though you're losing for 95% of the game.
Well, that's how I feel about Elder right now. You can be losing
Yeah,
for
sure.
almost the whole game, and if you just smite steal the Elder or if the enemy team dies one time right before it spawns, like the whole game changes.
I think, speaking of Elder, I think the craziest thing with Elder is that when lower elo teams get it, all they need to do is like literally push. Basically, they could just win the game. They can't get stopped.
Yep.
But people are just like, oh, okay, we play this slow, go farm up our jungle, let's get Baron with this.
Yeah, it's
It's like, oh,
literally
you can win the
like
game.
it's yeah, especially in lower elos because people will they will fight you for their inhibitor for no reason. And so you could probably they'll probably fight you. You can run it down and they'll probably just fight you.
Yeah.
And then you can win the game.
Like even under Nexus is like, if they fight you, you could pretty much kill somebody instantly. And it's game over.
Yeah, it's I don't like Elder.
It's gonna be interesting the first few weeks of the season for sure.
Yeah.
Preseason.
Preseason. I wonder how many people are gonna live on PBE when it comes out on PBE too, before preseason. It's gonna be an interesting time, lads.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's less. It's different. It's less different than like what they did, like or not less different. It's
Mhm.
more stable than what they did last year when they just revamped the entire item system.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
they should be able to balance everything a lot more
Hopefully.
We
reasonably.
can hope. We can hope.
But this is right we're talking about. So
Yeah, there are some bugs that have been in the game for a couple years now that they still haven't fixed. So the fucking green dot bug among one of them. I hate that bug.
One can dream.
I hate the bug when like you just like get one shot by an assassin.
And your screen goes gray.
Your screen goes gray.
Yeah, I get that bug a lot. I kind of
Do
need Riot
you?
to figure that one
Do you,
out for me.
Billy? Especially
Yeah.
with Fizzback now, huh?
I hate it
Dying
when like
even
there's
more.
a champion that just pops out of nowhere and kills me in 0.25
You know what I
seconds,
hate?
and,
Is when that same champion boy is building Gore Drinker, Sterix, Black Cleaver, and is completely unkillable.
and then is gonna
With
build this new
3000
assassin
HP.
item that he could do it all over again in about 10 seconds.
I just like Talon. Like it should not be a viable Kiana Talon build that they could go Gore Drinker, Sterix, Black Cleaver. Still
They
one
nerfed
shot
him
you.
though, right?
have 3,500 HP and do all this. It's crazy. They nerf who? What?
The Gourd Drinker.
Did they like? I heard there was a patch.
Changes on PBE.
No, they haven't
It
nerfed it yet,
doesn't-
man.
Yeah,
Also,
there's like
Go ahead.
rumored stuff. I think, right? Like
yeah,
it,
there's some rumors.
I think it was something like instead of 175% of your basic AD for the damage, it's just on your total AD, as well as changing the whole you gain more health or gain more attack for how much health you're missing.
I mean, that's pretty big.
More
but,
regen, yeah.
Like my
There's
funniest
nothing
thing.
confirmed yet, obviously.
The funniest thing I've seen is the Udyr one, because they took the Udyr buff that just happened because they took so much damage off his R to completely nerf him out of jungle, and they just gave all of it back.
Yeah.
They literally reverted the nerf.
Well, it's because of like
The chem tank's gone.
Hecarim Udyr meta.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's like when they did the nerf, that meta was already almost dead.
Yeah.
So
That's when they like quadra nerfed Hecarim in one patch.
it took them 8 patches to revert the Udyr nerf, man. Also, I don't understand why Singe got nerfed. I didn't think the grievous wounds on his R warrants him losing 20 damage and 15% ratio on his E, but they have
I
the
don't know,
numbers.
man.
Hey, Singe is more of a problem than the Talons and the Kianas running around right now.
Bro,
True.
it's not
With
like
Gourd
the
Drinker.
first day of Worlds, we just saw Talon and Kiana in the jungle constantly.
I don't know, man. Maybe they've just been watching Faker during the boot camp. He's been playing a lot of Singed.
Has he?
I think so.
He's
I think there was a-
wasn't he the one playing Vi? Vi mid,
He
or
was-
was that Showmaker?
I
or
think that
something?
was Showmaker, I want to say. I just remember there was like one day I checked out the boot camp and all
Dude.
I saw Faker play was Singed.
I mean, I know Chovy was the one, right? That was like 19-1 when he hit Masters. Like he lost one game before Masters, and then like one game in promos or something.
When do we see MF nerfs?
Probably not for a while, I hope. But my guess is gonna be either next patch or
They did
during
nerf his
preseason.
Moo. They
Finally.
increased the mana by
Yeah,
a lot.
They
for his
needed
mana
to.
cost. Yeah.
I mean, it just makes it so you can't just always chuck your Q constantly.
Yeah,
So,
it makes him. It tries to take him out of support. Like it's
doesn't.
literally for jungle. It's
doesn't take you out of support at all.
it doesn't like ultimately take him out of support, but it's like it's a bigger nerf for support than it is for jungle.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, in jungle you don't spam Q as much, so
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that was a really big one, but like I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have done both at the same time with the damage and the mana. I mean, honestly, if you wanted to take him out of support, you just up the CD, so you can't use
Yeah.
2 within 3 seconds. If you just made that, I mean, you can make that scaling. You can make that go from 6 to 3 or whatever. But I think that is about everything. As Worlds is in like 6 hours now, guys.
Yeah.
We might
Oh,
need to
no.
get some sleep to watch that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or play some solo queue. I don't know. Does anyone have anything else before we finish our almost 2 hour long episode?
Probably not.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered everything. Maybe a little bit too much.
A little bit too much. We just kept on getting off track talking about Freak.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
as
Yeah.
always, blame Freak.
Yep. But let us know who you guys think's gonna win Worlds. I'm an RNG believer. I think it's gonna be RNG that win. But the more I say that, the more I realize they could draw FPX or Dead 1 round 1 of playoffs, and they might be doomed. But I'm an
I'd
RNG
pick
believer.
FPS. Let's go.
And thank everyone for watching. You guys have a good one. We are gonna sign off now. It's only a 2 hour episode, guys.